This is Matthew Lyle on the Big Blue Breakdown post-game show, Missouri. Trying this a little different, trying it on cell phone, so feel free to give me some feedback. I'm going to try to bring some people on, try to interact a little more. So apparently this is something that has to be done with iOS and Apple product. Currently, I'm trying to figure out how to share. If anybody has any idea on how to share this, feel free to let me know. Working on that currently. There used to be like a button I could push, but now all it is masked. Mike, I see you watching. You got any advice on how to share this? Saw the rest of the room there. Let me see here. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm going to get to try to share it to all the pages I can get into. Missouri post-game show. It reminded me of a Sunday. The game was a Sunday morning. We had a great Saturday. Saturday night, we went out, partied, beat Tennessee, had a great time. Sunday morning, we woke up, thought we felt good. Midday hangover hit us right in the face. What I think really happened in this game, and let's start with the big news. We won the game. The game didn't matter to me. I hope that Reed Travis is okay. Reed Travis went down with what is being called a knee sprain, but it could be worse. If it's with it being a big fella, if it's worse than a knee sprain, I'm a little concerned about what could mean for this team. But the Reed Travis injury changed this game. They were letting them play. They were letting the big guys dominating. They were letting the big boys ball. They were letting the game go as they wanted it to go. Until Reed Travis hurt his knee. It actually happened on the play on the other end. The guy got slammed to the ground. It was a crazy play on a breakaway layup. Reed Travis hurt his knee. It seemed like from that moment was a lineup that just did not equal. It was a formula that did not work in the favor of Kentucky. The refs then became extremely ticky-tack on some of the fouls, which took them a little bit out of their element. It's almost like the players were concerned, rightfully so, of Reed Travis's injury. So from that point on, it was like Kentucky couldn't get in a rhythm. Everything that was working in the first half, every aggressive move, every screen, every pick, every dive, was now turned into fouls. They were afraid to duplicate the injury that occurred to Reed Travis. So it just kind of, it was very sloppy on Kentucky's end once that was a turning point. It was almost like they didn't really want to be there because at that point they realized that I think that the gameplay wasn't going to be as fun. It wasn't going to be in their favor. For all intent and purpose, they had the game wrapped up, and then they saw Reed get hurt with a knee injury, which could be anything. Could be a torn ACL, it could be a sprain, it could just be a little nick. It could have been anything. So that's on the back of their mind. It was like at that point, they just wanted to go home. They just wanted to sim the rest of that game and get back to Lexington, which you could blame them. You know, you had a great game against Tennessee. It was all passion. It was all fire. It was 110% go. And then you come into Missouri. You get in there. You come out a little. Missouri gave you their best early on, which third Division I players at a Power 5 conference. I mean, this is an SEC school. Most of those people that play on Missouri, even at 12-12, are better than guys that we've ever played. I mean, they were the best guys at their high school, within their region, their all-state, whatever they may be. Missouri has good players. They're going to give you 5 good minutes. And then here came Kentucky. Kentucky showed you that they are by far the better team. They were doing whatever they want. They're stronger. They're better. They're faster, stronger, whatever you want to say. Tougher, everything. Goes into halftime, huge lead, comes out, continuing to be dominant. They get a couple of crazy three-pointers, but it continues to be a very lopsided, one-sided game. And then the foul, or the play on Reed, it's like the ref said, oh, we need to get this under control before somebody does get hurt. And from that moment on, it was checked out. I mean, if you looked around the stadium, we had beaten Missouri into a pulp. I mean, not only did their players know it, their fans knew it. There will probably be more people watch this show than Missouri fans at the Missouri game. They got into it there at the end when Kentucky decided that they were ready to pack it up 10 minutes early. But for 30 minutes of that game, Kentucky was the better team. Kentucky dominated. It was when the refs decided, hey, we need to this game's getting a little sloppy, this is getting a little crazy, a little hectic, a little frantic. We need to get this under control. We're going to start calling these fouls. We're going to start reeling this in. It was at that point that the pace no longer favored Kentucky, but yet Kentucky had the game wrapped up. So it was just it wasn't a good formula for them to stretch. I'm glad it didn't happen earlier. And like I said, you can't weigh enough. I hope Reed Travis is okay. I hope that's not a bad injury. I hope it's just the sprain as they've discussed or they've reported. But mainly at that point, I mean, because it kind of felt that way to fans too. Like you go from this hype game of Tennessee where so much was on the line, where every basket, every play mattered, because even when you're up 24, it just becomes a proving ground. If you could have beat Missouri by 50, and it wouldn't have meant near the same as the win versus Tennessee. So we come back we come off that. We know we got Auburn. Tennessee's calling it a fluke. Tennessee fans are saying, oh, we needed that. That was just a one-off. We're up there. Everybody's comparing us to Duke now. So the hype is getting real again. And it's kind of the Tuesdays from here on out. For the rest of the season, the games that happen on Tuesday night are going to struggle to keep your attention. I don't know, not with the product that you see on the field or on the court, just with the energy that you're going to feel. Because at this point, we are ready for March Madness. We are ready to drag this team into March and see what we're going to do. We're ready to lock that 1 seed in, or at least that very high 2 seed, to get Louisville and make the Louisville bracket ours. So the Tuesday games, you're going to have to we're just going to have to buy for some patience on this, because it's not going to be fun. I mean, and especially when the Saturday games are going to be so interesting. I mean, we had Tennessee last Saturday, and here we go with at Missouri, a 12-12 team. We got Auburn coming in, finally getting healthy, wanting revenge next Saturday, only to play a lackluster Arkansas. We got the Battle Royale, very likely, all things pointing to another top 5 matchup at Knoxville the Saturday after, only to go to Ole Miss. And then you get the Florida game on a Saturday, which is that's Reed Travis Day. It's senior day. He's the only senior. It's going to be his day. Hopefully he gets to play. Hopefully this injury doesn't linger. So as a Kentucky fan, you're just going to have to manufacture hype on these Tuesday games. And the players are going to have to do this. Cal came out and said, I think today or maybe it was yesterday, that he's not going to let this team get in that slump. Easier said than done. Easier said to say, hey, we're not going to fall asleep at the wheel. Because when it happens, it's slow. It's not just you wake up and say, oh, there it is. We're playing good, and then for a 4-minute stretch, we're not. It's a 17-point lead becomes 13. And then it's that 13-point lead becomes 8. And now you have an 8-point lead with 6 minutes to go, and you've lost all momentum. So I like what Cal's doing, and hopefully he's able to make it convert and make it happen. Like I said, I think it's easier said than done. So they're going to have to find a way to hype themselves up for these little games. But honestly, a loss on a Tuesday, I think, is going to better our chances for a win on that Saturday. The only problem is where we want to be, where we're trying to be, because we've played lackadaisical games at LSU, letting a lead go away, letting the Alabama game end up getting away from us, letting Seton Hall. We had a lead in that game. I mean, basically every loss but Duke has led us to where we are now, which I'm thankful for in a way. But at the same time, now, if we want that number 1 seed, if we want to go through the Louisville bracket, if we want to play in Columbus, Louisville, and then Minneapolis for the Final Four and keep that close to home, we're on a very tight budget right now. We don't have any room for losses. We don't have any room in our back pocket to go out here and lay a dud. We're going to have to continue to play. We're going to have to continue to fight. We're going to have to treat Arkansas the same way we would treat the Tennessee game. That's going to be tough for us. Like I said, the game overall, I felt we showed that we dominated. We just, once it hit that mark where Reed Travis went out, it was like everyone kind of froze up. everyone was kind of ready to shut it down, lock it out, and go home. They're ready to get back on the plane to Lexington and make that happen. I saw somebody saying something in here. Obviously, if the Reed Travis injury is that bad, if it's big time, if it's multiple games, we're fine. If it's anything less than 5 games, we're fine. And actually, being optimistic here, we'll be better for it. Because somebody's got to step into that. That's how everybody asks, how do you get EJ more minutes? How do you get Nick into a rhythm? There you go. Make one of the players miss sizable amounts of game. So, and we might actually benefit from it, even if a loss is involved, if he doesn't come back till the game, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, the Ole Miss game, which means he would miss Auburn, he would miss Tennessee, and it could prove beneficial to us to have EJ and Nick thrusted into Knoxville. I don't know how the game would end. I don't know if it would end in a win at that moment, but when March rolls around, it's going to be beneficial to have them have those large minute games, to have a game where they're out there producing for 30 minutes. If he's injured for the rest of the season, worst case scenario, that's obviously the worst case scenario. Yeah, I think we're still a Final Four team, but I think when we get to the likes of Duke, when you get into the likes of Virginia with that tough defense, you're going to need Reed Travis leadership. You're going to need that veteran leadership out there, because even though he's no longer the best player on the team like he was the first time we played Duke, it was just Reed Travis. All our freshmen have surpassed him for the most part at this point. What needs to happen, what's going to happen though, is in these big battles where every minute of the 40-minute matters, Reed Travis is going to bridge that together. He's going to be the cement between the cinder blocks that hold this team together. I'm not ready to rely on EJ or Nick to get that done. Now PJ is going to be what PJ is. Maybe he can bring the best out of EJ, who seems to play his best basketball in big games. Kind of running through everything. Reed Travis was just a brute. Reed Travis is kind of like that team that is really a football team that's really a passing football team that really likes to put the ball in the air, but they have a big, heavy running back that makes you respect the run game enough, because he's not going to get you 100 yards every game. He's not going to get in the end zone every game, but he's going to be that type of running back that picks you up a big 3rd and 1, so you can't just drop back and cover everybody. That's Reed. Especially now when everyone's kind of starting to flourish, Reed Travis's contributions probably aren't going to show up on paper. It's going to be him bullying guys down low, him drawing the double team, kicking it out, getting the good old hockey assist where his assist doesn't count, but he kicks it out to EJ, or maybe kicks it out to Keldon, who dishes it down to Tyler, or works it back around to PJ. He's the one that makes the unspoken play because he's a 5th-year senior. He's done this. He's seen it. He's done this. It's his time to shine. And I think he's the one that can kind of break the trend that Cal's had, where Cal's brought in a player, and that same year we go to their hometown as the Final Four. Trey Lyles did it in 2015 in Indianapolis. 2014 we had numerous guys from the state of Texas, the Dallas area with Randall and the Twins, and they kind of underperform on their home court. I think Reed is the guy that can buck that trend. You send him to Minneapolis, where he's from, he's going to make a way to convert that into talent. He's going to convert that into positive energy and get some things done. Looking at PJ, continuing his great play. We're watching the man develop before our eyes. He started the season, obviously bigger, stronger, faster, chip on his shoulder, hated the way K-State ended. His free throws have been marginally better even since the Duke game. From the K-State performance he had last year. He's starting to work on his outside shot. Once he gets his feet in the paint, there's no shot he can't make. He went from hitting, mid-season he started hitting wide open 3-pointers, and now he's to the point where he's catch and shoot. He had one 3-pointer where the guy was on him. The guy was closing out on him, and buckets. Ricky, I mean, like I said, I think a lot of that changed. I was saying a little earlier, I think a lot of that changed when Reed Travis went down and the refs changed the way they were calling that ball, calling the game. Instead of letting it be in a free flow, physical, if you hit the ground, get up and get back on defense, to fouls. And that hurt Kentucky. It helped Missouri. It's kind of the style they wanted. Keldon, I said this just a little bit ago. Keldon's the guy that he's going to be there for Saturday night. He's going to be there for the lights. When the ball's tipped and ESPN's watching and everybody in the country's tuned in, you're going to get the best Keldon Johnson. When it's a smaller school, when it's Missouri, when it's a non-tournament team, it's like he himself can't get hyped up, and it's understandable. The kid's 18 years old. If you see it when everybody when they're 18 does things better when people are watching for the public recognition. I think kids today call it clout chasing. It's just how you are. I mean, when you're young, if you're out in the backyard shooting some shots at the park, you don't care. But the moment the cute girl walks over, you're pulling out windmill dunks. I mean, it's what you do when you're 18, 19 years old. So when he plays at Missouri and the place is empty, I mean, Missouri was, I mean, I don't even know how much the tickets were cost. Either the tickets were so cheap that people could afford to leave just in the middle of it, or the game was that bad for them in the first half. I mean, it was a horrible. There's probably more people in the media when they practice at Lexington than there was at that game. So I kind of excuse Keldon Johnson for not wanting to bring out his best game. But as long as he does it in front of 25,000 plus, in front of 6.5 million viewers at home, which is what the Tennessee-Kentucky game probably brought. I didn't look at the numbers. I'm just pulling that out of nowhere. And what the Final Four will bring, the love and the rep that's going to come by being on the Sweet 16. Because if Kentucky's playing, they're going to get one of those good games. They're going to get, the 8 o'clock Friday night game instead of the 9:30 Sunday night game. They're going to get a game where people's going to be watching, and you're going to get the best Keldon. So I'm not really worried about Keldon. Tyler Hero continues his development. Kids making shots, hitting shots, free throws, wide open jumpers. I mean, he's really doing it all. He's turned into a great defender. Probably our best rebounder that isn't named P.J. Washington. I mean, every rebound. He literally took out his own guy today to get a rebound. He sent Emmanuel Quickley flying into the stands. Not really, he just fell to the ground. But he almost heard Emmanuel Quickley saying, hey, this is my rebound. Jimmy Dykes said it. He doesn't try to out-rebound the other 5 on the other team. He tries to out-rebound all 9 people on the court. So I'm not really, I like where Tyler's going. I just hope he doesn't hit a slump. Because when you're a shooter, you hit slumps. It happens. It's going to happen on a 20-game high school schedule. It's going to happen on a 40-game college schedule. It's going to happen on an 82-game pro schedule. I just hope he doesn't get a March slump. I'd rather him hit a little bit of a slump now and be ready to go when March gets here. By the way, guys, I am trying. I had it here. There should be a way. The reason I'm doing it on my phone is because I want to bring you guys in. I want to talk to you guys. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the game. There should be a way to invite yourself in to the conversation. I will work to figure it out. Because, like I said, that's the whole point of the show. Obviously, I want to give my thoughts, but then I want to bring you guys in. I want to hear your thoughts, especially people that's come on the show quite often, or at least interacted in the comment section. Moving through, Ashton Hagans, he's working his way through a knot. He's working his way through his concerns. He played really rough in the first half. 15-point lead. The man had 4 turnovers and I think like 2 points. Maybe even less. Comes out in the second half, hits a couple wide open shots, makes a nice lob. He made that whole play that Reed Travis got hurt on. Him and Keldon both were stumbling, fumbling, rumbling down the court. I felt like Boomer, whoop, because they didn't know where they were going. And actually, I think that led to Reed straining his knee. But if we can get him to hit, he doesn't have to go Tyler Hero 3-point shots. He has to go, they're leaving you open, hit a 3-pointer so they'll stay off P.J. Washington. Because that's essentially what they do. They say, they're at the top. Ashton Hagans, he can't shoot. P.J.'s killing us down below. I'm going to bring we're gonna dump that down. We're gonna double him because Hagans can't shoot. If Hagans can start hitting those, you can't double team PJ. You can't double team Nick. You can't double team Travis. That's what we need from you, Hagans. I thought Quickly played nice. He seemed to get. I'm surprised he didn't get hurt. He got hit in the face once. He got hit on a screen. He got knocked out by Tyler Hero. I'm glad to see that he waited out the game, walked away, hit a couple big 3-pointers, picked up some of the slack from Hagans. We just need to see that more consistently. He's the opposite. He's been the opposite of Keldon Johnson. When we're playing the smaller team, when we're playing the team and losing the record in the SEC, when we're playing the 500 non-tournament NIT barely qualifying team, he gives you buckets. He gives you numbers. He does his work. When he's Tennessee, he's the only one who didn't really perform and shine on Tennessee's spotlight. If everybody on this team wants to go pro this year, Tennessee game was the one to do it. And maybe the Duke one if we play them again in the championship. But that Tennessee game was when everyone was watching. And everyone balled out. Said Quickly. Got to get Quickly on that page. He played really nice tonight. That's how we need him to play. We need him to be that sixth man. He's essentially the sixth or seventh man off the bench. He needs to be that. Baker's still that ninth man. Those shots. He's not a liability. He's not a... Sorry, guys. He's not bad. He's not a fault. He doesn't do things that makes you hate watching him. He just doesn't do what I thought he was going to do. He just doesn't. I think he's going to be the guy that comes in and has 9 points, 3 for 3, 3 for 4. He just doesn't. I think he's 1 for 11 in the last 3 or 4 games. That's not what we need you for, man. It's not what you're here to do. Got to have you what you're here to do. EJ played well. EJ, Mike, I don't know. Maybe if Mike says Baker would start on any other team, I can't say any other team. He would start on some other teams. And maybe if he hadn't been injured. Maybe that's where it would come in. Maybe if he was on any other team, he would log some minutes because he can work off that injury. Well, it is hard to get in a groove, but you're not afforded that groove when you're the 8th best player on that team. You can't get in a groove when you're not allowed it. Nick Richards isn't allowed it, and he's a sophomore, and he's had some great plays. He's had some much better plays than Jamal Baker, but when you're the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th best player on your team, you're not going to get that leash that Ashton Hagans is, who, if peaking, is probably the 4th best player on the team. When Ashton Hagans is at the top of his game, he's the 4th best player on that team. You're going to give him a little bit better leash. You're still going to take him out if he's a detriment to your team, but you're going to give him that leash. Nick, Baker, EJ to a point, not so much. If Reed Travis wasn't a senior and wasn't so smart, he probably wouldn't have it. He's just smart enough to know, hey, I made a mistake. I got to get my stuff together. Sorry, I got to get together. I was trying to find a way. Like I said, Mike says there's some green button to bring in. Like I said, if anybody wants to hop on here, have a conversation, there's apparently a green button by the comment section. I am seeing absolutely nothing by the comment section. So, if you want to come on, we'll come on and talk. We'll give you a platform to share your thoughts. It's understandable if not, too, because it's not really a hot topic moment right now. The Tennessee game was probably a hot topic moment. LSU loss was a hot topic moment. This was a Missouri game that we won, and we're just waiting to March. We're sitting around just waiting to March. But, so moving forward, now we're looking at Auburn. I'm trying to get hype for Auburn. It sucks that Auburn struggled so much down the stretch that they don't have a number next to their name, because they're going to come in ready to fight. They're going to come in swinging. They're ready to send us home. They're ready to exact revenge from the game, what was it, a month ago? They're ready to make that happen. If we lose, it's going to look bad. If we lose to Auburn, I mean, it's not going to be the worst loss on a resume, but it's probably going to be the third worst. Or the third's better. If Reed's out, if he has to miss a game, I guess it depends on practice. It depends on the team. It hasn't been confirmed how long Reed is out. I don't think. Maybe it has since the show started. Auburn, if their big man's back, you got to go Nick. When we go to Auburn, if their big man is out, if their big man's playing, you got to go Richards, keep PJ at the 4, Keldon at the 3, so forth, the same rotation with Nick Richards. If we play a team that's athletic, if we play a team that isn't as big but they're quick and they're physical, I think you see PJ at the 5, EJ at the 4. Just my thoughts. This Auburn game, I heard Matt Jones say this on KSR. Bruce Pearl is one of those coaches who does more with less and less with more. Last year, he didn't have very much. The year before, he didn't have all this hype. He did good things. He did more. This year, he comes in ranked top 10. I think he started the season, ranked number 8? He's done less. He's disappointed. Bruce Pearl has his team kind of where he wants them. Still a tournament team, outside the top 25, with a lot of work left in front of them. I wouldn't be surprised if Auburn's Elite 8 team. I'm going to call it. Auburn, I have Auburn in my Elite 8. A lot would depend on the matchup. But if they got a favorable matchup, even as probably an 8 seed or a 6 seed, I have Auburn in the Elite 8. Because Bruce Pearl has his team where he needs them. Underhyped, doubted a little bit, hated on, if you will. Yeah. That's where Bruce Pearl likes his teams. He likes to do more with less. I'm telling you, this game's going to be crazy Saturday because they're going to be pesky. They're going to be wanting to fight. They're going to want revenge on what we did to them. I mean, we embarrassed. I mean, we effectively ended that season. At that time, because they came in with hype. They was losing a couple. They lost their big man, but we came out, boom, said, "No, you ain't ready for this." On your home court, they're going to be coming to us. They're going to be ready. I hope Rupp's ready. I hope Rupp can get 80% to what they had last Saturday versus Tennessee. I hope the fans can cherish it. I'm telling you, and I think. My man Ricky here said, "Let me go do the dishes." Hey, you gotta keep them clean, kids. Got to keep the kids clean here. Get rid of them dishes. I think this team. I mean, Michigan State could be one of those teams. They're one of those teams. They remind you of that team that got the 2 seed a couple years ago and lost to Middle Tennessee State. I look. This team, and I say this every week, or every show even, I need you guys to embrace the truth. What is that? I need you guys to embrace what's happening here, because I think this is the storm for that team you forget about. For that team that doesn't get the love. For that team that... I mean, I was a decent. They're on right now. On Scott Van Pelt. I think they Maryland beat them. So I mean, they're a decent team, especially if they get a nice 4 seed. But this Kentucky team, it was a perfect storm for you to forget about this Kentucky team, for you to forget how good this Kentucky team is, and that's why I said this last week. That's why this team needs to win a national championship. This team needs that thing to hold them together, because we had a historically good football team that made you forget basketball was coming. If there was ever anything that could make you forget Kentucky basketball was coming, even after the Bahamas, was the way this football team played. The first time beating Florida in majority of a lot of fans' lifetimes. So you already wasn't really as hyped for the basketball team as you typically are, because maybe the Bahamas made you think that this was going to be a breeze of a season. The football team was playing historically well. You just didn't bring the hype. And then when the hype does come, we get embarrassed by Duke on national TV. We are the laughing stock of college basketball for about a week. So you continue to just shun this basketball team and embrace the football team. Understandably so. Then we come out, we won't play anybody, you're still not ready to watch them, you're they're so bad, they're overrated, or you don't want any part of it. And here we are, halfway through February. What are there, 7 regular season games left? 10, counting SEC tournament, if we go all the way. 16, if we win the national title. That's it. Sounds like a lot, but that's it. Yeah, Daniel, if you want to hop in here, join the conversation. Yeah, Ricky, I heard it too. I heard every player. Ashton Hagen should still be in high school. Tyler Hero's overrated. Keldon Johnson's overrated. PJ Washington will never go pro. Then we lost Quade Green. And, we should have never lost Quade Green. We lost our best player. What's going to end up happening? And I hope this team wins the title so you can cherish it a little more. Because if we don't win the title, this will be one of the best seasons that never was. That you never remember. That when you're telling your grandkids about, this is going to be one of the best teams. Cal's admitted it's his best shooting team. I think it's one of his pure, deepest teams outside of the platoon team, which no team can beat that because literally you're 10 deep. This is going to be one of those teams that you're going to forget about. And, man, this team's too good to be forgotten about. Because if you look at the teams under Cal, 2010, we didn't get it done. You're not going to forget about it because that was the draft cats. 5 guys got drafted. The John Wall, that was, we got the bad taste of Billy Gillispie out of our mouth. You're not going to forget 10. 11, you're going to forget about. You're going to forget that 11 team. But that's okay because a lot of the guys that we liked, Deron Lamb, Terrence Jones, they came back, they won with 12. You'll never forget 12. 13, we want to forget about. Man, I can't get that out of here quick enough. 14, you're going to kind of forget about as time goes on. The shots help a little bit, but all those guys return back. 15 was so special, even without a title. 38-0, the platoon squad you'll never forget about. We've already forgot 16. 17, you're going to forget about, and you shouldn't, because 17's a lot like this. When you see it, you're going to see it in the NBA over the next decade. Fox and Monk are going to be 2 of the greatest guards in the league, especially Fox. In 5-6 years, when you're watching Fox win an MVP, when Fox is Derrick Rose, when Fox is putting up absurd numbers, when Fox probably goes to a super team and you see him winning national titles, you're going to be like, hey, I forgot, man, he came to Kentucky, didn't he? And then you're just going to sit there and be like, man, him and Monk played together. We didn't get it done. So, 18, it's all right to forget about because everybody we liked came back this year. I mean, Knox was cool. But, 19. And 19 even just sounds like a year you forget. Because what year ending in 9 sounds silly, but Kentucky does some of their best work on even years. What year ending in 9 in Kentucky history do you forget prior to 1949? Or after 1949? 1949 won the title. 59 didn't do anything. 58 won the title. 59 didn't do anything. 69, the only thing we made the tournament. 79, we didn't make the tournament. 89, I think we were on probation, or that was the year we got on probation. 99 was when it fell apart. We had 96, 97, 98. 09, missed the tournament. First time since the years I spoke about earlier. The 9s haven't been good to us. The 9s are very easy to forget. 9s are the years ending in 9 you don't want to be a part of in Kentucky history. It's the 8s that get all the glory. 48, 58, 78, 98. Those are the years that get the glory. 2019, man, that's the year we want to remember. These guys are about to get it done. So, big win versus Missouri. It's a win. At this point, we're to the point. Jimmy Dykes had his little plane there. We're up in the first class. We're right where we want to be. I think he said we're kicking Duke's seats. We're right where we need to be. This win is just enough. It's coasting. It's sit back, prop your feet up, have a cold one. We're just waiting. If you're old enough. Ricky, I know you're young. Not ready. Cold Mountain Dew. We're in a trying time as a fan. Because I sit here and I make notes and I'm like, what are we going to talk about? That's why I hope you guys hop on and talk, because there's only so much you can talk about because we're playing the waiting game. It's hurry up and wait. Oh, Mike wants to be in here. Let's get Mike in this bad boy. It's hurry up and wait. It's don't lose. It's don't mess up. Really, if you want to look at where Kentucky is in their season, it's like having a 20-point win, a 20-point lead. You just don't want to give it away. You just don't want to choke that lead away, because we're right where we need to be. We have the number, this poster right here. We'll get to that poster. It's an awesome poster. I should probably mark Quade off wherever he's at on there. But it is an awesome poster. Has all the guys cartooned up. I think it was the Kroger one, 2019. You got to collect the Kroger ones. Mike, I'm trying to add you. It just says add in here. But we're right where we want to be. We're actually, I wish we could just forfeit all the rest of the season, because the rankings came out, or the bracketology, which however you want to put faith in that. We're 2 in Louisville. Mike didn't answer. Way to invite yourself to the conversation and then not answer. You're gone. We're the 2 seed in Louisville, playing the first 2 rounds in Columbus, playing the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 in Louisville. You look at that bracket, 1 seed Virginia. I don't trust that 1 seed at all. Scott Van Pelt has hair if you're watching SportsCenter. I don't trust Virginia as a 1 seed at all. The 4 and 5 seeds are Iowa State. Don't trust them. Wisconsin, Tyler Hero would go nuts against Wisconsin. Tyler Hero would put up 40 in Wisconsin, versus Wisconsin. We're the 2 seed. I think the 3 seed was Purdue. I'll take that, because Purdue barely beat a bad Indiana team today. So you mean to tell me that we could go to Columbus, Ohio, play Northern Kentucky, which I always feel like that's the team they want us to play. We could beat them, no problem. We would wax a Purdue team. Then you go to Louisville and play and play either Iowa, Wisconsin. Actually, there'd probably be somebody who played before Purdue. Yeah, I think it was Buffalo, which actually scares me, because we played them last year. This Buffalo team's nice. They had Buffalo being the 10th seed. So we'd play Buffalo in Northern Kentucky, and then we would go to Louisville and play Purdue, which would be oddly close for them too, but it'd be closer for us. And then you play a Virginia team or a Wisconsin team. I mean, we're cakewalking to the Final Four, in my opinion. And I'm telling you, I say this a lot too, and I continue to say it, because if I got a new listener, if there's somebody in here that hasn't thought of this, embrace it. Because we've all heard the doubt about Cal. Matt Jones said something at the earlier beginning of the season that really stuck with me, and I've carried it on. He said, "No, we're here for the kids. If your mom says do the dishes, you got to do the dishes. Don't let Buck Heister talk you out of it. Don't let him get you grounded and you have to miss Saturday's game in Auburn. We don't want that." Calipari has a Duke team. Calipari has a team that sophomores, a big senior, not to play that card, but a white guy that could shoot. That's a Duke team. Duke has a Kentucky team. 3 guys that could go top 5, with another one that's going to probably go lottery pick, 1 returning guy, and then some scrappy players that they pull off the bench who plays because you've got a big lead. That's a Kentucky team down in Durham. And that's a Duke team here in Lexington. And the reason it's so important to me, I mean, not that it matters. I mean, a team's a team, and I've talked before that I think this is the future of college basketball. Once the one and done's done away with in a couple seasons, you're going to have to be able to sell yourself to lesser-known recruits, not just the top of the top. But the reason it's so important to me, and I'm sure we've all heard it, you might be one of those guys if you're watching, or girls, that you think Cal's overrated. Well, let me tell you, it's not easy to win with freshmen. Only twice has a team that's been in the top 5 recruiting class won the title that year. 2012 Kentucky, 2015 Duke. Only twice. Kansas can't do it. Kansas tries to be us so bad. Kansas is out here getting every 5-star point guard, 5-star shooting guard, 5-star center, and never fails. Every year they got one kid who has eligibility issue. Kansas tries to beat us so bad, and it never works out. Yeah, they sprinkle around the occasional Final Four, but they're also losing the first round. But I look at this team, and I say, why does us having a Duke team and them having a Kentucky team matter to me so much? Because one or two things is probably going to happen. If Duke wins a national title and we come up short, especially if we come up considerably short, if we lose in the Sweet 16, but if Duke wins a national title with those four guys, and you can take into account that these are a special group of kids, that Reddish, Barrett, and Zion have been friends for years, and they gel like no other. They've been playing together for years. That's fine. But if Duke wins the national title and Kentucky comes up short, and especially, like I said, especially if they come up well short, second round, Sweet 16, maybe even Elite 8, I'm still going to love Cal, but I'm going to be like, hey, man, let's change some things up. Let's try a different approach. Because that means Coach K just showed you can basically take a team, roll the basketball out to them, yell a couple obscenities, and you get a national title out of it. That's really all he does with his team. I mean, the big secret plan that beat Louisville was I don't coach losers. That's the big thing. That was the big thing that turned this team around. That team's great guys. They just wanted it more. So if Coach K on the big stage, the Final Four, can get it done, and Cal comes up short, still want Cal here, no better coach I'd rather have, but I'm just saying, let's change some things. But if Kentucky gets it done, if Cal hoists the title, with a P.J. Washington, if you look back at the rankings, was a teen recruit, if I'm not mistaken. He was not a number one recruit. He was not the number one power forward. He wasn't even the number 2 or 3 power forward. Tyler Hero was not supposed to be a one and done. Hagens was a kid that he got last minute. Quickly was an underrated point guard. Tyler Hero got plucked from Stanford. Nick Richards wasn't the highest rated. Nick Richards was, I think, the 4th best senior coming out last year behind Mo Bamba, Ayton, and some other guy. If Cal gets it done with this team, and to add a cherry on top, Coach K and Duke get sent out in the Sweet 16. That tells me, boys, we are right where we need to be. We have the greatest coach in college basketball, and that confirms it because Cal says, you know what? I like this Duke team. I like the way K's been doing it. I like this. This is my new style. And that just proves to everybody that you can take the 5 best players in the country out of high school. You can take the number 1 point guard, number 1 shooting guard, number 1 3 guard, number 1 power forward, number 1 center, and it's probably not going to be enough. And that's a good message that I think a lot of people need to see because Cal's kind of a trendsetter. Cal's the front runner of this recruiting. Cal's walking through the huge Kroger aisle that is high school recruiting and plucking things off the shelf. And everybody's like, oh, Cal can't do it. Cal can't win with good talent. Well, maybe nobody can win with young, arrogant 6-month kids. You can't win NASCAR with rent-a-car. And I think if Cal gets it done this year, mainly if Duke doesn't get it done this year, that tells me what I've often expected, that you just can't win with kids. That a one-game loss, a one-game tournament such as Sweet 16 or March Madness, where one bad night and you're gone, does not lend itself to kids. This is not child's play. This is not high school. This is not this. This is not the NBA where the better talent will prevail if you play enough times. This is March Madness, PG-13 and up, R-rated. You can't win with kids. Because right now, the only person that's proved that you can't really do it is the Fab Five in Michigan and Calipari, because he's just been so good at recruiting. So when he doesn't get it done, haters naturally want to put that on him. But if Duke doesn't get it done, I think that shows the country you just can't win with kids. Because here's the thing. there aren't many people out there that hate Coach Cal and Coach K. It's typically an either. Either you like what Duke's doing and you just hate Coach Cal with a passion, or you love Coach Cal and you can't stand Coach K. But when both sides of the coin are seeing two of the best coaches, and I'll say it, two of the better coaches, best coaches of this era can't get it done with a bunch of high schoolers, it can't be done. And I'm excited to see that. And if Cal can get it done, if Cal gets this done with this kind of team, that tells me what Cal. Then I think we are on certain things in life you think are done, and they aren't. Everybody in 2009 thought Tom Brady was done, that the man would never lift another championship. He's gotten you 3 more. Everybody, for the most part, if you're not a Cal supporter, you're thinking his time here's done. I've heard Kentucky fans say it. I've heard Kentucky haters say it. If you're not a Cal supporter, you want the man out. You push him out. Get us a Brad Stevens. I don't know why they want that guy. He's a good coach, but he's an Indiana guy. He would leave us at the first opportunity. But if Cal does that, I'm telling you, if Cal gets it done this year, I think last year was the show of hands. He gave you some names. Kevin Knox was his distraction. Last year, in my opinion, was John Calipari's magic act. He gave you Kevin Knox and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but secretly he was rebuilding. Because if you notice, he didn't really go after the elite of the elite. Sure, he may have went after one. He may have liked to have one of them. But he didn't chase all of them. And I think what he wants is a pyramid style. 5 sturdy upperclassmen, 2 to 3 really good sophomores, and an amazingly elite freshman. I think that's what Cal wants. I think Cal wanted that this year. I think if Cal could have handpicked his team for this year, it would have been Reed Travis. It would have been P.J. Washington. It would have been Nick Richards. It might have been Jared Vanderbilt, depending on that health issue. And then it would have been Tyler Hero, Keldon Johnson, and then Zion Williams. Even though he's at Duke now, I do think Cal went after him at 110 miles an hour. I think if that's the team that Cal would have preferred to have. I think we're seeing a point where Cal is going to be more selective. It used to be all about the clicks. It was all about the clickbait with Cal. He said, I'm going to send 20 guys to the draft, and we're going to see if we can get 8 drafted in a round. That's what Cal used to be about. I think Cal now is having a more real conversation with these guys. He's going to sit down Keldon Johnson and say, yeah, you're going to go pro. You're top 10 pick. Even if you get a little lazy sometime, Keldon, you're a top 10 pick. PJ, I think he's going to say, PJ, you played out your mind. You grew yourself. You took yourself from the A to B. Enjoy yourself. Hagans, he might sit Hagans down and say, hey, man, you're lacking a lot on that offense. Hero, he might get a little selfish with Hero and just say, I need you back. Nick Richards, everybody says they're concerned Richards is going to transfer. I think he sits Nick Richards down and says, hey, I need you, man. Need that big guy. Because I think Cal's, at that time, and I hate to give them credit, but it's that North Carolina rotation. North Carolina always has a couple of upperclassmen, a couple of undersized 5-star sophomores, and like a really good freshman. And I think that's where Cal wants to be. I think you're going to see it next year. I think we're going to have a junior Nick Richards, a junior Baker, a sophomore Montgomery. Don't be surprised with a sophomore Hero mixed in with the young guns, Whitney. There's the new kid from Indiana that a lot of people are expecting him to pluck here in the next couple of days. I think Cal's since Cal got to Kentucky, Cal realized he could be picky. When Cal came to Kentucky, he no longer felt the need, and then I don't want to typecast any type of player, but he no longer felt the type of need to just go into any stable home or any unstable area and say, hey, you're a troubled kid, but you're really good at basketball. I felt like at Memphis and at UMass, he went into any house that would let him, no matter what troubles the kid had, no matter how the kid acted, and said, I need you on my team. When he came to Kentucky, there's a lot of guys he didn't go after because they fit that type. Ben Simmons, I don't think he put a lot of effort in recruiting Ben Simmons. I don't think he put a lot of effort in recruiting the likes of Marvin Bagley. I don't think he put a whole lot of effort into really even recruiting this Anthony Edwards kid, because he knows that his success is no longer just give me the best point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, and we're going to get done. His key to success is building interwoven veteran leadership, young talent, competitive guy, amazing talent. Cal's going to want to get to the point, which this is a great story, and I'm not to derail, but this guy here is mad at any NHL fans. This Carolina Hurricane team, they're horrible at hockey. They act foolish when they get wins. I love it. Somebody's getting mad at them, calling them jerks. I don't know. Check it out. It's a cool story. I don't know anything about it. Or I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Cal knows that his future, his way of getting us, because Cal can say what he wants because he's a salesman. He always is trying to sell. He's trying to push the product. He's trying to say, hey, I'm here for the kids, because that's what the kids want to hear. When Cal gets on the stage and says, I care more about, when Cal comes up to these meetings and Cal says, I care more about putting kids in the pros than winning national titles, and everyone gets upset, Cal's not talking to us. He's not talking to me. He's not talking to Mike. He's not talking to Matt Jones. He's not talking to KSR. He's not talking to any Kentucky fan. He's talking to the next kid's recruiting parents. Because when Mama Davis, when Mama Keldon Johnson, when they're listening and they say, oh, he's got my son's best interest, because let's be real, that's what college is. It's to develop your kids. When Mama Hagens hears his main goal is to get your son to the pros, you feel comfortable sending there. He's already told you his main goal. He said this when he got here. His main goal, is it lightning or is there a party outside? There might be a rave outside. If I bounce early, it means there's a rave outside. I might go out there. His main goal, he said this when he first got here, surpass John Wooden and UCLA with all-time titles. He's got 4 more to surpass them to take that. And UCLA is in not any condition to win a national title. So he's got some time. But that clock is ticking. I think that's his goal, and I think he knows the way to achieve this goal is to get a good rotation. We got storms rolling in. Big Blue Thunder. That's what I'm gonna make a new show. Big Blue Thunder. It don't matter. I'm on my phone now. Power could go out. We're rocking. Scott Van Pelt over here talking Duke, North Carolina. I think North Carolina gets them. We got the poster behind me Mike was talking about. Who is this? Is that EJ? I can't see backwards. That's somebody. Why does Johnny David look like new Eminem? Like after Eminem stopped doing drugs and he went dark hair, new Eminem on the team. All right, guys, if anybody wants to hop on here and have a conversation, I'm tapped out right now for the moment because young Rich Eisen, I don't know what his name is. Rich Eisman, NFL Network guy, got hair, looks crazy now. 1998, Kentucky won the title. Little do they know, when Duke and North Carolina are hyping themselves up right now, and if you're watching ESPN, you know what I'm talking about. If Duke, they hype, you got Vince Carter and you got Coach K yelling at all those guys. Little do they know, Kentucky's about to win number 7. Tubby's about to bring it home with the comeback cat. You can show Antoine Jamison all you want. Kentucky was that team. We're not talking about that, Mike. All right, guys, like I said, I'll give you a couple more minutes. Apparently there's a green button. You can push it if you want to join the conversation. If not, we're about to wrap it up. Of course, I will be back after the Auburn game. hopefully up spirits. Like I said, it's one of those ones where I try to bring the thunder, no pun intended. I try to bring the magic. I try to bring the hype, but we know what we are. We know our talent. We know we're a title contender. We know we're valedictorian. This is just formality. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We could lose. We could lose every game. I'm trying to look at that. Oh. See? Mike, you said I could hit his name, and all I can do is delete him or block him, and I don't want to do either of those things. Look at this. Why am I doing this? We could lose every game for the rest of the season, for the rest of the regular season, as long as we're healthy. Can't have injuries. As long as we're healthy, we can lose every game remaining. And you can't convince me we're not a national title team. I've already seen it. I've already seen too much. I've seen us beat Auburn. I've seen us beat TV. I've seen us beat Tennessee. I've seen us beat Kansas. I've seen too much national championship team. I already know. Now, whether or not we do it is a different story. But I already know we have the potential to be a national championship team. The rest of the games to me doesn't matter. Really, all this is, and I'm sure I'll get some angry faces, it's like being a New England Patriots fan. When you lose little regular season games throughout, the only thing bad, and Tim, that's a great question, and I will definitely get on it because I do have some very strong points on it. The only thing bad about being a New England Patriots fan during the regular season is you don't want to hear the crap. I don't want to hear the haters talk. I don't want to hear the ESPN talk about how it's over. Because I know that when the playoffs get here, my team's going to be good. And that's how it is with Kentucky every year. This year, the only reason I don't want to lose to Tennessee and I don't want to lose to Auburn is because I don't want to hear it from haters. I don't want to hear it from the even less successful Louisville fans. I don't want to turn on ESPN and hear Jay Billis talk about how Cal's slipping away. I don't want to hear that because I know that we could lose every game remaining on our schedule and we're going to win the SEC tournament or at least get to the championship game, which I think Cal has done it every year minus 2013. And we're going to go on a run. Like these are things that are going to happen. But my man back here, he said, why do they consider Duke and North Carolina the rival? Just because it's had history. I mean, Duke's in the modern era, they've always been relevant to the point that Kentucky really hasn't been. I mean, when Kentucky's been on top, man, they've been on top. But there was the early 2000s that you kind of forgot that Kentucky was that. There was the Billy Gillispie tenure where you was like, oh, what is this? But Duke and North Carolina since the early 90s have been churning out NBA talent. So they hold on to it. But I actually tell you, the best rivalry in sports is Louisville and Kentucky. And the reason it is you can get all hyped about North Carolina and Duke all you want. They're going to play again. No matter what happens Wednesday night, they're going to play again in just a couple of weeks. And they'll probably even play a third time in the ACC tournament. Who can get hyped about that? Louisville, Kentucky, when we lose to Louisville, I hide in shame for 1 year. When we beat Louisville, man, I let them hear it. There's not a day that goes by. I just pray we beat Louisville on a leap year so I get another day to rub it in their face. I think that's how leap year works. Maybe. There's something beautiful about a rivalry that only happens once a year. And the hatred has blended itself into other sports. You can say what you want. North Carolina and Duke played in football. No one said a word. Leave my drink. Big Blue Breakdown, not sponsored by Mountain Dew. You can call Ohio State and Michigan the greatest rivalry in sports. They play all the time in basketball, and no one cares. Even earlier when Michigan was top 5 and Ohio State was top 25, no one cares. Duke, Louisville, Kentucky gets all the hype. Basketball, football. The baseball tickets to a Louisville baseball game, I don't know about now, but like 2 years ago, was free. Free. I could walk into a Louisville baseball game at any time and just sit down. Didn't have to be a homeless person. Just want to sit down and stretch my legs. It was free to get in. The moment Kentucky came to town, $12. Do that percentage markup. That's absurd. To go from $0 to $12? Do the math, because I'm not good at it. It's a lot. Imagine if they did that with basketball tickets. If it costs $200 to go to Louisville basketball game, imagine what happens when Kentucky comes to town. That's why it's the best route. And they only play once. Unless it's a tournament, and then it's like extra great. All right, I'm still trying. I am dedicated to the cause, to bring people on. This show is about talking to the fans, and I will talk to the fans. I just don't know how. I'm dedicated. I even watched a whole YouTube video on how this works. See, that, Mike, you want to talk about posters? Ignore the aromatherapy candle. That is the poster. 8 national titles. And let me tell you, brother, when we get a 9th, I'm stitching it on. 2019 going right there under 48 and 78. Let me tell you. Mike, yours is working. It's everyone else that's not working. What if I hit this button? Nope, that's just so I can chat with you guys. I'm already chatting in the first person. Don't need to say anything else. Okay, allow your viewers to request to join you as a guest in your broadcast. Well, I've already did that. We've been live for about an hour, so if we can't bring anybody on, I will figure this out, or I'll get a whole new program. Look, Tim, I'm going to use this as a platform to preach the preach the sermon I've been preaching for the last month. Go easy on ESPN. ESPN loves us. ESPN needs to make money. ESPN doesn't love Louisville. Because let me tell you, Kentucky stocks are going up. If I was that dude on the money channel and I'd be out here honking a horn, I'd be hitting a hammer, I'd be talking, stocks are going up. The Kentucky stocks are going up. The football team, national champions by 2022. You heard it here first. The basketball team, we're going play. We're dynasty coming. We're going to pass UCLA within the next 8 years. You heard it here first. Baseball team, we're going to the national championship, College World Series, probably in the next 3 years. You heard it here first. Our women's basketball team, skyrocketing. Because our big money makers, our football and our basketball teams becoming relevant, which means we're allowed to afford nicer things for everyone else. We're carrying our weight. Louisville, though, man, Louisville is that stock you do not want to bet on. Their football team, they're just doubling down. You know when you go to Vegas and you start with a hot hand and you think you're going to ride that hot wave all the way through, and then you start going broke, and then you start betting stuff you shouldn't be betting because you don't want to go home as broke as you're already going broke, and you end up going home even more broke? That's Louisville football right now. They doubled down. They hit a hot streak. They lost Charlie Strong. They doubled down. They put all their chips back in the Bobby Petrino table. It worked for them a little bit. It worked until it didn't. And now they're just trying to dig themselves out of the hole. It's going to start. It started with Mr. Sutterfield. Scott, is that his name? Whatever his name is, I think Sutterfield. When it doesn't work, you can't go any lower than Appalachian State. Sorry about Appalachian State fans. You can't go any lower than taking their coach. So the Louisville stock is tanking. There may not even be a basketball program. We talked about this last episode. Death penalty coming. I hear it coming. It's the green mile from Louisville. Call it the red mile. The red mile is coming for Louisville. You heard it here first. I don't know, you may not heard that here first. Everything else you heard here first. The death penalty, you heard here like 8th. Louisville's stock is dropping. ESPN can't bet on it. ESPN can't ride in Kentucky versus Louisville. I mean, look at Missouri. What was it? 10 years ago, Missouri was an elite Big 12 team in basketball, empty stadium tonight. So you hear, Tim, all this came from you're hearing Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky, like Kentucky's not getting the same partnership that they once was because our biggest rival, Louisville, and even though I'm going to probably sound contradictory, and I just said they were the greatest rivalry, only if Louisville holds up their end of the bargain. If Louisville becomes a 4-8 football team, if Louisville becomes Wake Forest, and their basketball team is on a death penalty and spends the next 10 years rebuilding, Kentucky Louisville will then become Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, that we play sometimes. We'll have to replace them with Indiana and hope they can get there. Because it's starting to look like Indiana's going to have the better football and basketball program once everything's said and done. So yes, when all things are equal, Kentucky-Louisville is the best rivalry in my opinion. But Louisville, Kentucky stock riding up. We're Apple. You bet into Apple, you're going to be a rich man. Louisville's Enron. Louisville's crashing. So ESPN. So I'm not mad at ESPN for not hyping Kentucky-Louisville. I'm not mad at ESPN for not hyping Kentucky-Missouri. Kentucky's the gold standard, even in probably the best SEC team. I mean, look at this. Look at the SEC basketball. The best SEC season that there's probably been in basketball can't even touch Kentucky. Coming into the season, it was, Kentucky. Where's Kentucky going to fall? Tennessee. Look at them. They're gone. Tennessee. I don't care what Tennessee does the rest of the season unless they win a national title. When we dog walk Tennessee, done. Oh, Auburn, Bruce Pearl's got them. They're done. LSU, everybody with eyes know the only reason LSU beat us is because it was a bad call. So they spent the entire time hyping up the SEC and being, are they the best basketball conference? Which I'm not doubting. I'm glad to see the SEC get some love for being actually good in basketball. Still can't touch Kentucky. On a year following Kentucky had one of the biggest letdowns in Calipari's tournament career here. I mean, we had a clear walk to the Final Four and choked it away in the Sweet 16. Following losing to Duke by 34 points. Starting 0-1 in SEC play. Kentucky's still king of the SEC. SEC can't touch us. You can try. They can say it. They can pretend it. So, I'm not mad. And it's only starting to wilter as the season goes on. The SEC, 2 months ago, the SEC, ESPN hyped it up. 2 months ago, ESPN was screaming from the rooftop, come watch any SEC game we give you. Doesn't matter. Because wherever you put Kentucky is where the viewers are going to go. You put Kentucky on PBS. The satellites will probably break down because they couldn't carry it. Yeah, Mike, when Mizzou got here, they did win the SEC East. So let me go. I'm going back. What did Mike say? Mike, the man said he liked the Pays. Let's quit beating that dead horse. Literally is what you said. I'm gonna bring this guy on. So if anybody who's peeping, I should probably write that in here. Put that on the title. Anybody that comes in, they just see my big mug up here, and I'm not doing anything. I am on a purpose. I am on a mission. Because there's got to be a way to bring on guests that are not your friends on Facebook. Because I can't be friends with everybody. What is that? That's that Flash? Mike, I believe him over you. Because you also said there was something on there earlier that I'd already deleted. Turn this off. Turn it back on. Because you also said that, Mike, where are you at? Because you also said there's somewhere on here where I could share this in the bottom corner, and the only button I have says finish. So it's not that. So I think Mike's just seeing stuff. Maybe we'll have to toy with it. Maybe later in the week we'll just run a dry run, and I'll see if I can, because I can click add, and I can draw stuff. I can even lip sync. How can I lip sync, but I can't bring on a guest viewer? I can wear mask. Somehow that's productive, but I can't bring on a viewer. That's going to show you the rest of the room. That's okay. We got a kid coming, so that's over there. Oh, what is that? It literally says my viewers is Michael Buckheister. Get it out of here. All right, guys, we're probably going to wrap it up. Been toying around with this thing. Thanks for everybody who tuned in, listened to me ranting. Thanks for everybody who contributed to the conversation. We will figure this out. I don't know if I have to get a new program. I don't know if I have to figure out a new way to do this. We'll figure it out. Thanks for watching. Big Blue Breakdown. The mask. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing one of these masks on this thing. That is not what I'm doing. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be here after the Auburn game. It may be later in the evening because it's really tough on Saturday games to do it immediately after Saturday if they give us like a 4 o'clock game. Plus, we all do things on Saturday evening. So maybe a little later. Check out the Big Blue Breakdown podcast. Join in some conversation. I'm in tons of Kentucky groups. Hopefully talk to you guys in there. I'm out. Mike, we're going to figure this out one way or the other. Not wearing a mask.